right, we begin with some breaking news this morning. Dan Osborne is planning to announce a run for the U.S. Senate in the 2026 midterm election today. Osborne had formed an exploratory committee earlier this year to potentially run against Nebraska Senator Pete Ricketts. You may remember Osborne unsuccessfully ran against Nebraska's other Senator Deb Fischer last November.
Well, some more breaking news we are following. We're tracking power outages across the metro and after last night's severe weather, of course. This is a live look at that map. Just over 1,100 customers without power, most of them in Douglas and Washington counties. And at this point, no word about potential restoration efforts going on, but we'll make sure to update you once we know more.
All right, let's take a closer look at what that severe weather looked like last night. This is video taken at a home near 72nd Maple. You see all that rain, that wind that was falling. I mentioned earlier when I pulled out, I only saw one of my two trash cans, so that wind blew away the other one. We have to find it.
Send one of the boys up.
Send the boys to find it. All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on First Alert 6 Streaming. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley. There we go. It's good to have you with us. Of course, joined by meteorologist Jarrett Lansford and the senior chief, Rusty Lord. Getting a little bit of a break today from some of that rain, but it does come back.
Yeah, today is pretty much the only day we don't have rain in the forecast. So you don't need the umbrella today. We're clearing out. We're drying out this morning. That's good news for those hitting the roads here as we get started. You can see quite a few clouds that we have across the area as of right now. And those are exiting. The rain is gone. We're just waiting on the clouds to do the same. 67 degrees with a bit of a southwest wind at about 9 miles per hour here. Dew point in the 60s. That's a muggy start, and that's really not going to change all that much today. Bank on the humidity once again. There's the thunderstorms down to the southeast, really fizzling out. There's the west edge of the clouds moving in, so we will gradually see that move out. This is just ground clutter on the radar. Down south near Maryville, Missouri is the last little shower that's hanging on. So temperatures in the 60s as we move through the morning hours. Should warm up, probably about 20 degrees today, the way things are looking. A lot of 60s to start off the day. The muggy meter hanging out in that muggy range all day. We're starting out midway in it. Could get up near 70 with that dew point and then kind of hang there into the evening hours. So by lunch, there's what's left of the clouds. They'll be moving east. By 3 o'clock, we're up to about 84 degrees for the high temperature, or for the 3 o'clock temperature. A high of 86 likely today, and then later on this evening, gradually cooling off. Pretty good deck night forecast by July standards. Yeah, it's still muggy, but temperatures in the 80s, falling off into the 70s. And then the next thing to watch will be by tomorrow morning with the potential for some thunderstorms, especially on the Nebraska side of the river. By 6, 7 o'clock, some new development. We'll see if any of those can become a little stronger, but the likelihood is these will drop down to the south wherever they develop. So we got some chances in there tomorrow morning we'll watch for. And the problem with these, I think they might be a little tough to shut off completely. And they could keep sending clouds our direction. So where they develop is very, very key to tomorrow's forecast. I think we can get up to about 88, 89 degrees for that afternoon high on Wednesday. So that's what to watch tomorrow morning. I mentioned you got the thunderstorms tomorrow morning that you'll make sure you know where the umbrella's at is basically what I'm trying to say.
All right, so don't put it away too far. So Wednesday we've got that. Thursday you have issued another First Alert 6 weather day. Yeah,
it's another thing to watch. This one's really picked up a little steam probably in the last 24 hours. Something to watch. We're going to have a couple rounds of storms on Thursday, one in the morning hours, and then that will kind of set up where we could see a little more energy develop and build for the next round in the evening. It'll likely leave some outflow boundaries around and make the afternoon setup a little messy. The messier it is, I guess, the better that is, and less organization for any storms that could produce some hail, some wind, and some tornadoes. So if anything, we're rooting for this morning round to kind of get in the way of the evening round as best as it can, because whatever's out there for the evening likely has a potential to produce some tornadoes in the area. So this is what we're watching, the 2 out of 5 on the scale here. So the morning round is mostly just wind and hail potential. Anything that gets going in the evening has tornado, hail, and wind risk along with it, and pretty much the entire viewing area covered by that 2 out of 5. And then don't be surprised if some areas get additional maybe a 3 added to that as we get closer to it. So right now, equal risk of a tornado, wind gusts of 60 to 75 miles per hour, and some larger hail as well from the Thursday rounds. Again, the tornadoes are mostly just for the evening round to watch for. So keep an eye on that heading into Thursday. Friday has some morning and afternoon thunderstorms to watch for. Saturday right now is looking like the day. We take a lot of the humidity out. We dip down into the lower 80s for high temperatures and then rebound pretty quickly after that. You don't get many days like that in July where we can take a little humidity out and cool off into the lower 80s, because average highs this time of year are right up near 90. So that's a pretty good day there on Saturday to watch for. A lot of storms to get through, I think, before we get there, though.
Okay. Sounds good. In the meantime, I was going to update on traffic this morning. A couple of slow spots.
Yeah, we're really off to a pretty smooth start considering we had rain overnight. A lot of our roads have dried off. So we just have a couple of those slow spots. And I want to start in Council Bluffs with one that I am seeing. And that is right around Highway 92 and Harry Langdon. We're looking at some delays that are showing up in this area. And it's nothing major, but it is going to be noteworthy if you're trying to make your way through that area here in the short term. Watch for that as we start off our day. A lot of our other ones are about where you would probably expect them to be. It's actually not terrible as you're going westbound on I-80 right around the L area. We've had times where I've pulled this camera up and you just see cars parked all the way in the shot of the camera. So a little slow, but nothing major at this point. As you're going on 144th, another spot that we typically get some delays, it is slow on either side of I-80. And then one more spot that I'm going to show you here. This is as you're going along 90th, right near Dodge. You can see some delays that are in place. Similar case right near Maple where it's a little slow. That's just busy traffic that you're looking at as we're starting off our day. A lot of our ramps, interchanges that we typically watch very carefully when we get into these kind of mornings post-rain or during rain are drying out. So not looking at those being too much of an issue. It's probably not a bad idea just to use a little extra caution if you're going to be approaching those here in the short term, but we haven't seen any problems so far and looking like we're holding up pretty good. And when you look at some of our drive times, JFK, I-80, Dodge, holding up really well. Speeds in pretty good shape too. So it's pretty smooth for how things are getting up and running. Hopefully we can keep that as the case. Yeah. And we're going to talk about some areas that probably won't be with some construction that has started up here in just a little bit.
All right, Jared, thank you. Well, Nebraska Task Force 1 is headed to help recovery efforts in Texas after those devastating flash floods. Governor Jim Pillen authorized a trip through the Nebraska Emergency Management Act. The task force will help transport boats, cars, and other equipment that will navigate areas devastated by the floodwaters. They are expected to arrive in San Antonio later this morning. They'll be there for 2 weeks.
You are the cavalry coming from Nebraska, but the honor is also what separates you from anyone else in any other profession. What you're doing is honorable. I'm in the presence of heroes right now.
A request for state help was issued through the Emergency Management Assistance Compact, or EMAC. Pillen has been in contact with Texas Governor Greg Abbott concerning the flooding disaster and its aftermath.
All right, on that same topic, now at the safety desk with Marie Cade, you have some more information about, of course, the recovery efforts in Texas. People seeing the horror that has happened down there, they want to help out, but there's a word of caution before they do.
Yeah, you definitely want to be careful if you're considering making any donations online. The Better Business Bureau, they're encouraging people to really do their research before they donate to any specific website. One sign to look out for when you're donating is when a donation page says that 100% of the funds that you give them are going to go back to those relief efforts. Now, that might sound pretty great, but the BBB officials say that there are normally always some costs associated with those donations. They say that you can check out a charity on the website give.org. That website, they're a partner of the BBB, and they'll let you know if that charity that you're considering giving to is a legit one or not. Another red flag to look out for is when people try to use urgency to get you to donate your money.
They want you just to donate right away. If someone reaches out and says, donate right now, we'll send even more money or we'll match your offer if you donate in the next 2 minutes. It's usually a scam to get you to just think urgently and think you're doing a good thing.
For people who might be directly impacted by natural disasters like these floods, the FCC says officials with government disaster assistant agencies, they will never call or text asking you to give them your financial account information. There are also no fees required to apply or to get that disaster assistance from either FEMA or the Small Business Administration. Unfortunately, we see a lot of people here impacted by that when it comes to tornadoes. Hopefully, not anytime soon.
So rotten that people take advantage of people doing a good thing.
Absolutely.
Okay, Marie Kate, thank you. We're back after this.
Welcome back, everybody. Sure hope your morning's getting off to a really good start. Things drying up after those storms last night. Let's check in with Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord. We have those clouds. They're even starting to move out.
Yeah, right now, I think could easily be the best day we have the rest of the week. So embrace it.
I like that.
Bummer it's on a Tuesday, but hey, and take what we can get here. Clouds moving off to the southeast following these showers and thunderstorms from last night. I posted some rain totals on my Facebook and Twitter pages as well. If you want to check those out and get an idea of what fell in your area, you can add your rain totals to those as well. Love to hear what people have in their area rain gauges. Pretty quiet on the radar right now. There's the clouds that are moving off towards the east this afternoon, and then all the 80s we get with the humidity along with it, 85, 86 degrees for that afternoon high. By 7 o'clock, we're in the mid 80s, and then later on tonight, cooling off through the 70s, overnight heading towards tomorrow morning. Pretty quiet until we get right to sunrise, where a couple of storms could pop up, especially on the Nebraska side. Model's starting to pick up on this, some recent runs here. Severe potential isn't great. It's a little farther to our west, but it gives you an idea of what we're watching for, especially heading into Wednesday and Thursday morning, where you want the umbrella to start off. You can see there's that morning little batch of thunderstorms here by 7 o'clock, and then they drop to the south and southeast as we go through the morning. And there could be some clouds blowing off the top of these, covering up a good portion of the area, making it a little tougher to warm in the morning. And then it looks like we could get some afternoon sunshine and go to 88 degrees. We've made Thursday a first alert weather day because those rounds of storms look a little more intense. You got a morning round here that could have some severe potential with it to start off Thursday. Timing a little iffy on just when these get rolling, but the morning round moves through, you get some wind, maybe a little hail from that. You see how there's this little faint line right here? Southwest of that, there's going to be a lot of energy left over, and then that'll all funnel in with another little piece of energy moving through, and well, 7 6, 7 o'clock, we could get a couple of storms that have some ability to rotate, and that would produce some hail, some tornado risk, and some wind gust risk as well. And even into the evening and overnight hours, that risk continues. So that's why we made Thursday a first alert 6 weather day. You got to watch the morning round, see where it sets up and where it exits, and then that'll determine where we can get some evening storms firing up. The gusty winds, hail, and tornado risk comes along with that in this yellow shaded area you see here across pretty much our entire viewing area for the day on Thursday. Again, it's really the evening round that has the tornado risk with it, but equal opportunities here for wind, hail, and tornadoes from anything that gets going on Thursday. So watch for that. Then 83 on Friday with some, I'd say these are mostly morning and early afternoon storms. And then heading into the weekend, a little bit of cooler weather, the way things appear. Friday and Saturday trending down into the lower 80s, which looks really, really good this time of year.
All right, Rusty, thanks. In the meantime, looks like heading into the weekend and beyond, it's going to be a little bit more promising after all this rain.
Yeah, so you got that cooler air there. Then we're talking about the potential for getting back up into the 90s with a little more humidity, but no big heat waves. Even another possibility of a dip there with some of the temperatures Wednesday and into Thursday of next week. And over the next 5 days, basically getting through this week into the weekend, possibility of some 1 to 2 inch rainfall additional from any thunderstorms that move through. But what I want you to pay attention to longer range is this little dip in the muggy meter right there for Saturday. Watch that. That's going to be a little reprieve from the humidity behind the Friday storms that move out in the morning. And I think that will be very enjoyable on Saturday. Pair that up with some of the lower 80s. It looks like a pretty good stretch there, at least to start the weekend.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think Saturday is the best day of the week.
Well, okay. I was thinking weekday.
Oh, weekday. Okay. Okay.
You know what? I'm not going to argue with that.
That was really
Mark it
good.
down, Jared. We'll make that Saturday, okay?
Oh, Jared, we've got something to talk about. We've got a crash, and it's not in a great spot.
We jinxed it earlier.
We did.
We said it was really quiet. Now we got a crash that's completely blocking Blair High Road as you're going westbound. Here is what that looks like, and you can see there in the picture that in front of the entirety of the road, traffic being detoured onto 103rd. So you've got several vehicles involved here, and they're kind of tightening the picture there. You can see how you're not going to be able to get through that area due to that crash. So as a result of that and kind of the scene in general, Blair High might be a road to just avoid in general. So you can see some of the delays, traffic being detoured in this area. Irvington Road, I think, is your good option here as an alternate route. If you're trying to get through this stretch this morning, you're going to want to avoid Blair High, particularly westbound. You're looking at not being able to get through there at all, but eastbound, you're starting to see the delays stack up as people see that scene ongoing. So you're going to need to avoid trying to get caught up in that. Irvington Road moving along really well right now. So that is a good option to use instead with that ongoing. We're going to keep you posted as that situation continues to evolve as well. Other areas, I've talked about some of the construction that's impacting some things. You've got coming eastbound with pretty smooth travel right now, but 1-lane travel through late August. And one more I'll get in real quick here. If you're heading from the airport off to the west, Stores westbound has some lane restrictions for the next month. But aside from that Blair High crash, a little slow on I-80 eastbound just past 144th, but mostly moving along well. We'll keep you posted on Blair High though.
All right, Jared, thank you. Well, still ahead, teaching an old dog new tricks.
Yeah, we'll explain when we return. All right, happening today, it is National Freezer Pop Day.
Yep, as you know, these classic frozen treats come in all flavors and tasty colors, or the other way around. They've been around for decades and are now a staple of summer picnics and parties. With the summer heat kicking in to high gear, there's no better time to enjoy a freezer pop. That's the bomb pop. Do you guys have a favorite?
I was going to say, by the way, the reason we're not saying popsicle is because popsicle is a trademarked brand. Yeah, that's the brand.
Okay.
Popsicle.
My favorite.
People still say it, just like Kleenex.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Clorox.
So we got our daughter hooked on the Pedialyte ones.
Oh.
So that way we get hydrated at the same time.
Aren't you a smarty?
Can't tell your secrets.
Not watching.
You might.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Huh.
And it's delicious? Oh, we still have something to read. Oh, okay. A Virginia ballet teacher has been teaching ballet for more than 60 years now.
Now, the 82-year-old continues to inspire new students to try the art form, which she compares to poetry. Susan Massey joins the faculty of the Richmond Ballet in 1992, or she did join back then. Not all the students, though, are professionals. Some are members of the community who take classes recreationally to either learn ballet or tap back into something that they might have studied when they were younger. Do we have any video of this?
No, we just keep talking.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry. I was like, wait for something.
See,
That's cool.
what happened is they left to get some freezer pops to celebrate the day, so that's why we...
Popsicle, freezer pop.
Jarrett, demonstrate.
Okay, but that's not a ballet. That's all right. We're just going to call it a wash.
Look at all the people going to get the freezer pops. It's such a popular
There
thing
it
today.
is.
There we go.
Okay. All right, we're gonna go. Thanks for joining us. We're gonna get there's a little plie. We're gonna get ready for our update in the Today Show. You can watch it here on streaming or over the air.
Give us a break. It's Tuesday, okay? Have a good one.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Tuesday morning to you. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
I'm Erin Hartley. Let's get an update on traffic this morning with Jarrett Lansford.
We got a crash that is blocking westbound Blair High at 103rd, so just past 680. There you can see the very busy scene and traffic being detoured onto 103rd. So you're going to want to avoid this situation, and the best way to do that is probably to use Irvington Road. You can see how well it's moving along here in the early going. Eastbound is open, but we do have some decent delays that have been starting to build as people kind of see that crash scene and react. So keep that in mind early this morning. That is our biggest problem spot easily. A couple slowdowns in the construction zones on I-80, but other areas moving along pretty well. Rusty.
Thanks, Jarrett. Clouds are moving out after the showers and thunderstorms of last night. Going to take a little while for these to move out, but overall that's going to be the story this morning, and then by the afternoon we should have abundant sunshine. Temperatures in the 60s right now, 64 to about 67 degrees for that temperature at the moment. Muggy meter, this must have been a little new data that came in because it's trending up a little bit, maybe up into the steamy range. So bank on a humid day today. Thank goodness not incredibly hot. The first alert forecast takes the 60s this morning. I'll warm up to about 86 today with mostly sunny skies this afternoon. A little bit below average, which is great news because it's going to be humid. A couple of thunderstorms possible Wednesday morning, especially on the Nebraska side of the river. Thursday, we get the First Alert 6 weather day to watch for morning and evening storms and even the potential for a couple of tornadoes with that evening round that we'll be watching closely the next 48 hours. Aaron?
All right, some breaking news we are following. Dan Osborne planning to announce an official run for the U.S. Senate in the 2026 midterm election today. Osborne formed an exploratory committee earlier this year, potentially running against Nebraska Senator Pete Ricketts.
All right, everybody, it is 7:28. We're back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then.